Welcome back to the Skift Daily Briefing. It's Tuesday, April 28th. I'm Sarah Dandishi, and today I'm live at Impression by Secrets, a resort on Isla Mujeres in Mexico, and it's fantastic. But let's get into the news. Today, United Airlines CEO wrote a very public love letter to a merger that got rejected. AI is coming for your travel planning, and actually in a useful way, and a luxury vacation rental brand is getting even more exclusive. Let's go ahead and get into it. First up, United Airlines CEO Scott Kirby did something pretty unusual this week. He wrote a lengthy public memo defending a merger with American Airlines, even though American already said no. Now, here's the backstory. Kirby approached American about combining the two airlines into what would have been the largest airline in the world: biggest fleet, biggest network, biggest revenue. American's CEO called it a non starter and shut the door. Even President Trump said publicly he didn't support it. So the deal is dead. Well, for now. But instead of moving on quietly, Kirby published the entire pitch anyway. Why? Because his real audience isn't American Airlines, it's Washington. He's making the case to regulators and policymakers that big airline mergers can actually be good for consumers: lower prices, more routes, better service. He even pushed back on fears about higher fares, pointing out that inflation adjusted ticket prices are already significantly lower than they were before the pandemic. It's a bold move, and it's really a roadmap for the next deal, whatever that turns out to be. The takeaway here: the airline industry is hungry for consolidation right now, and Kirby just put everyone on notice that United intends to be at the center of it. Next up, you know how booking a cruise involves about 100 decisions: itinerary, cabin, dining, excursions, and it takes forever? Well, Google Cloud and Virgin Voyages are trying to fix that with AI. Virgin Voyages just launched an AI assistant called Rovi, built on Google Cloud's new agentic AI platform. Now, the idea is simple. Instead of clicking through endless pages and starting over every time, you just have a conversation. Tell Rovi what kind of traveler you are, what you're into, and what your budget looks like, and it guides you from inspiration all the way to booking in one continuous flow. It even remembers your preferences between sessions, so you're not starting from scratch every time you come back. Google's using the cruise industry as its proof of concept because cruise bookings are one of the most complex purchases in all of travel. So if AI can handle that, it can handle anything: hotel, flights, full itineraries. So how does this impact you? Well, this is the early version of what trip planning is going to look like in just a few years. Less searching, less tab switching, more just telling AI what you want and having it figure it out. And finally, onefinestay, a luxury vacation rental brand now owned by AOL co-founder Steve Case, is going through a major makeover. Here's what's happening in plain terms. They had about 3,000 properties. They're cutting that way down to only focus on the absolute best ones. So think South Kensington in London, Saint-Tropez, Lake Como, the Caribbean. Over 200 properties in London and Paris are being handed off to a partner company. And what's left is a much smaller, much more exclusive portfolio aimed squarely at high-end travelers who want a private villa, not just a nice apartment. Now, they're also expanding into new markets. The U.S. Mountain West and Mexico are on the list, with 2 new flagship destinations expected by the end of 2026. So in a nutshell, onefinestay is done trying to be everything to everyone. They're going full ultra-luxury. Fewer properties, higher standards, wealthier guests. It's the opposite of Airbnb's strategy, and that's exactly the point. Well, that's it for your Skift Daily Briefing. For more industry news, head to skift.com, and as always, subscribe at skift.com/daily. Thanks so much for listening.